Wow. Okay. It's telling me that my battery is low, but I'm going to continue going. And if anything happens, then we will start over at some other point. But I'm gonna do this because I need to. Oh, it's been so crazy. It's been a little bit unpredictable and like everything that could be going on is going on. I just got these headphones with a mic that's better than the last one I had. And, I just knew that I needed to do it. And here I am using them for the first time. Let me know if you can hear me. Hopefully they won't die on me. Apparently they're like 6 hours, but maybe they were only charged a little bit when I got them. Anyway, I'm going to go ahead and shuffle your cards. We go for mid-June 2020. And we're going to get started. I have a lot of changes happening. You have a lot of changes happening. We have a lot of changes happening. People in general do. Okay, I've just needed to be in the right energy to do your reading and not feel like I was distracted. At the bottom of the deck, we have our mastering our energy with the King of Swords, which is good because this is a new perspective, or this is kind of like a more a wise perspective or a mature frame of mind. There's a cardinal here, which is crazy because we're cardinal, right? I love it. It's amazing. It's eating like a worm or something, so the bird gets the worm. What about that? So this is fixed air, and this is not changing your mind about something. And it's because you may have weighed out all of the different options. You have maybe weighed out, different understandings or, whatever. Now it's time for you to think for yourself and be very self reliant and also, be very sure about what decisions that you're making. This is related to the emperor, therefore, it's also related to the Four of Swords, which is Jupiter in Libra. Jupiter is actually the esoteric ruler of Aquarius. So we're talking about opportunities and we're talking about expansion. We're also talking about detachment, maybe psychological, or maybe you're having to pull away so you can get the bigger picture of a situation, or you can understand the bigger picture. You know, Capricorn is one third of this, so it is talking about what you are building. So you're considering what you are building, or you are just also considering how much time or how much time you're spending doing something, or how much time you're putting into something. This is definitely changing something because Aquarius is ruled by Uranus, and Jupiter is talking about change too in an esoteric sense, and it is growth, it is expansion, and definitely would be growth and expansion for you, for us, because the King of Swords is like the mastering of the element of air, And being that this card is actually related to the Four of Swords, is saying, like, maybe you have to think for yourself. Maybe you have to come up with solutions for yourself. Maybe you have to act on those solutions for yourself. You have to think about yourself too in a situation and what something might be providing for you. Are you secure in your thoughts? Are you secure in your mind? Are you secure in your current situation? And are you secure within the energy and the way that you are thinking? Are the choices that you are making you feel secure within making those choices? And I would say yes, just because it's the King of Swords and you're Libra. So let me go ahead and lay the cards out. Ooh. I'm using the Morgan group just because I couldn't carry around 5 decks with me today. Um, you know, but I did bring a clarification deck, which is the Mystical Lenormand, which is a fortune telling deck. There's bugs and birds and all kinds of things around right now. So if you see me like swiping at things, that's why. So at the center, you have the Queen of Pentacles, which is wonderful because the Queen of Pentacles is actually one third of the King of Swords. Yeah, so you're kind of like transitioning. It's going from one energy into the other, and it's also kind of like you're realizing what you're capable of doing. You're making the effort. You're putting in the work. You're putting in the hours. It does talk about gathering things and putting things together. Maybe writing things down. Make creating a list. Um, The Queen of Pentacles is one third Sagittarius as well. So this is realization of your goals. You're realizing some goals. And that's really good because being that the Queen of Swords, or sorry, the Queen of Pentacles is Capricorn and she's one third Sagittarius, um, there's a little bit of opportunity here, right? It's like luck, opportunity, chance, but then it's also how you apply yourself when all of those things come together, right? And that's what Jupiter talks about as well, because you can have all of the opportunities you want, you can have all of the luck you want, but if you're not prepared, if you're not set up to take advantage of it, then it's kind of like, it kind of just falls through your fingers. So, this is saying that there's some stability here, there's something that you can rely on, and it's not going to actually fall through your fingers because the Queen of Pentacles is going to be able to catch whatever is coming into her hands or their hands. Okay, it's air and it's earth and it's definitely Saturnian. Okay, so there's some karmic cycles that are playing out with people here, that might be involved in each other's life in some way, shape, or form. Right? These people don't have to be the element that are represented in these cards, but they definitely could be playing out this energy of the King of Swords and the Queen of Pentacles. And being that these are two adjacent signs, right, that are ruled both by Saturn um, and Uranus, right? Capricorn is ruled by Saturn, Aquarius is ruled by Saturn. But Aquarius is also ruled by Uranus, which is talking about change, and it's also talking about, being nervous about change or being nervous about, taking a risk or something like that. It's okay. Don't be nervous. No one ever got anywhere exciting without taking a risk, right? Um, but you've learned a lot of lessons here, and you're realizing what you have to do. You're realizing how you have to think in order to, establish something meaningful for yourself, right? And it's kind of like use your brilliant mind because the King of Swords is definitely talking about a mind well seasoned. Okay, and it's talking about a mind that also is willing to change. Obviously, it's air, right? So there's something that you can produce here. There's something of value, definitely, with the Queen of Pentacles and the King of Swords. It's time for a new, right? It's like the Queen of Pentacles is dealing with time and dealing with things that may have decayed or things that may have gotten old or things that may have run at their course, right? Because uh, Capricorn is cardinal. So this is almost like how the fall is like when all of the leaves die and then we go into a new reality, right? Reality setting in. This is a new reality setting in for you. Um, and it's good because the King of Swords is saying that there's something fruitful here. There's something wholesome here that can actually grow, right? And you can make a lot of different things from wheat. You just have to be very thoughtful about how you are using something, right? So coming up with new concepts of how to get things done. A relationship is confusing for you, or some element of sex or love or something is confusing. You're weighing out all of the different options of what you desire and what you want to do. Also, don't get distracted by, don't get distracted. Keep focus, right? Realize what the priorities are and what the goals are here. What are you trying to achieve or get done? This is a seven, so it's kind of like, you have a conflict, but it's an advantage. It's almost a 10. It's like you can have what you want as long as you know what you want. And the Seven of Cups is related to the seventh house of Libra, and it is talking about knowing what you want, right? Um, and also, you have to realize what is good for you and what is bad for you, what's positive, what's negative, right? Because the seventh house is Libra, and we're talking about the scales. Um, this is intimate relationships. So you might be confused by some intimate relationships. You might be mentally plagued by, some things, right? Also, you could just be thinking about sex in some kind of way. Um, you know, This is Venus and Scorpio. So Venus is talking about pleasure, and Scorpio is talking about sex, and it's also talking about transformative relationships. You know, kind of needing to understand where the challenges in your relationships are leading you, right? Coming up with some sort of like resolve or some conclusion, or something that's going to help you understand your feelings a little bit better. Um, and being able to cope with all of your different feelings, they are distractions. So you might have to try to maintain some level of objectivity in your relationships and in your dealings. I feel like that's the immediate influence, and that's the challenge too, because there have been some things that have been happening over a period of time. And hold on one second. Been a few things that have been happening over a period of time that have sort of emotions and maybe stirred up some new emotions and some unfamiliar emotions. So sometimes when we experience unfamiliar emotions, we start to get confused by them and we don't know what direction they might be leading us in or what to even make of what to do about the new feelings. And sometimes you just have to like let time and let a situation play out. Also, you have to think wisely too. You have to understand what your needs are, and whatever those needs are that prioritize over, whatever your situation is or whatever someone else's needs might be. And you have to prioritize your needs. And that's what this is talking about. Coming up with a good plan, being able to take whatever it is that, whatever misunderstanding, whatever interaction, whatever, make the best of a situation, okay? You have to reduce it down too. Um, it's kind of like a package, right? The whole package. Okay, so some of you could be getting the whole package, some of you might be the whole package, or you might be looking at the depth of a situation and seeing how it's been packaged up for you and determining how you're going to move or how you're going to move forward when you look at the total package. Okay, and the Queen of Pentacles is here, um, supporting that, right? My new headphones went out, but I hope that we're still good. um, yeah, maintaining some level of objectivity and also focus, right? So you have to stay focused. Both of these are talking about staying focused. Thank you, Pink Rose. I really appreciate you all watching. I've been reading for about 3 years, but I've also been involved in, astrology and tarot for 5. It was a relationship that ended after 10 years that I knew was going to end. Hello. And here I am today. So, I've been in 2 relationships. Both of them have been toxic in different kind of ways. One of them lasted for a decade. So, and I'm a double Libra with a Cancer moon. So I have a little bit of insight into relationships in depth. Been following the channel from the beginning. Love your Libra energy. Thank you so much. I might need to get some pink sparkling rosé. I've been thinking about it. Queen of Rods is in the past position. So this could be Aries or Leo energy that could be coming in and influencing the reading. This is cardinal fire, so it's Aries. So there could be an Aries from your past, or there could be an Aries from your recent past, or one that you might be looking back towards or returning to in some kind of way. It definitely could be. What else am I saying? Leo, right? There could be a Leo here as well that's influential in your reading. You have 3 court cards here, so there's 3 people that might be influential in your life or in the current situation that you might find yourself in. One is trying to stay objective and be very, wise about how they might be thinking. That could be you, us, me, them. The Queen of Pentacles is also us, which is talking about what we value. We're talking about qualitative things. We could be talking about quantitative things as well, but we're talking about quality as well. The Queen of Rods is talking about something that was initiated in the past, perhaps, and we might be, you know, revisiting that. The Queen of Rods talks about waiting for something to transpire, or, waiting for something, waiting to see what you could be getting out of something, or what something might be, what you're heading towards too, because the Queen of Rods does rule the head, right, and the frontal lobe, because it's Aries energy. So it could be talking about using your head, being very being very intuitively perceptive about what it is that you need to do or what you want to do, right? Because the Queen of Rods wants to do. Queen of Rods is just talking. I'm sorry, someone's trying to call me right now. The Queen of Rods is really determined to make something happen and to create something. It really is talking about creation, and creation lives inside of you, right? As human beings, we sort of live to procreate, but then also, there is a sense of procreation that happens inside of you too. It's bringing things out, right, and actually manifesting it and making it something, because the queens and the kings are very stable energy, right? They're stable in their element. So, you could be feeling very justified in the actions from the past or something like that. Or you might just be, you know, this could be someone's actions in the past benefiting you, or someone's actions in the past, affecting you or influencing, right, what you do. Because she is related to the Three of Wands, and it is related to the Empress. So it's, what is it that is influencing your your level of understanding of what's happening, right? And your ability to have mercy, or be merciful, is going to take you having to take action in order to be merciful, right? And it's showing yourself mercy, right? But then also showing others mercy as well, and acting on that, doing something that just shows that. It's like, well, yeah. uh, Realizing how you want to create the environment that you surround yourself in. Okay, it's that. Let's look at your sun position. The sun position has the Two of Wands, which is, that's Mars and Aries. And Mars is, inspiration, but then it's also like determination, passion, aggression, uh, potential. Okay, so there's an understanding of potential here, right? This is kind of like devising a plan and acting, right, and doing the things that you need to do to carry out a plan, okay, and being successful in carrying out that plan. This is very much like Mars, Pluto energy. So there could be something that's very transformative here, going from one place to another, or going from one reality into another, or just kind of like tapping into like a new ability, right? This is kind of you acting purely for yourself, right? But then it could also be acting, purely for the benefit of other people as well. So it's kind of like this is almost kind of like a win-win situation if you position yourself well enough to kind of like make things happen. Okay, so it's pretty good. Mars and Aries is, um, we're about to experience that energy. It's coming soon, and I think it'll definitely be during Cancer season. So we'll have energy happening in the first house, and then we'll also have energy happening in the fourth house, which is very cardinal, right? So we saw that, and I'm wearing red today. So there'll be a lot of like initiations and a lot of new things that are happening, fresh energy. We are going to be having a solar eclipse in Cancer, I believe, on July 4th, which is interesting. That's the nation's birthday. Anyway, so there will be some things that will help you realize your potential. Someone is going to help you realize your potential, and it's kind of like working together to realize the, the potential of something, whether it's with work, right? With your home, um, or in a relationship, like You know, maybe a relationship could be reignited for some of you all, and that could be like a work relationship, or it could be a relationship that you have with, you know, another person, like business wise. So this does kind of talk about business picking up and things picking up in terms of like earning money, right? Second house, earn income. You know, you just have to be vocal to yourself about what you want. You have to sort of like envision what you want, right? Visualization, you know, that type of thing. All right, so wow. In the moon, we have the high priestess, which is really great. You know, it's just supporting that energy of the two of wands here, which is saying there is something that's going to be uncovered. There is something that is hidden right now that has yet to be seen. It's already been determined by some sort of like higher energy, but it has yet to be seen. You know, there's a little bit of wisdom that will be gained from this. You know, there's a sense of, oh, yeah, definitely paying attention to your dreams. I've had some dreams recently, and those dreams have been very significant. And this one is significant to me based on a dream that I had. Like, maybe not last night, but the night before. So definitely pay attention to your dreams, maybe write them down, and also search. Find out what the meaning of those dreams are, okay? The high priestess is also talking about sacrifice and letting go, because it is Pisces, and then we are talking about Neptune, and we are talking about the moon. So we're talking about the illusion of something. So there could be something, right? You could be trying to make sense of something that's an illusion to you right now, or maybe you might be confused by your feelings, right? Because the high priestess is in the moon position, and this is very much like exalted rulership type of energy, because the high priestess in the tarot represents Pisces, and the moon really does like being in Pisces. Pisces is ruled by Neptune in esoteric astrology. Cancer is ruled by Neptune. So there's a lot of power in your intuitive insight right now, and you have to take that and you have to act on that information that's being relayed to you, you know, just in different ways that you don't necessarily understand, you know. um let's look at your anxieties. Your anxieties are like getting started or the change, right? What am I going to do once things are different? You just have to really believe in yourself and believe in your potential and what you're capable of getting started. Um, Also, acknowledging what your strengths are, because the Ace of Rods does talk about your strengths, you know. Focus on that. Prioritize your strengths as well, because, you know, if you prioritize something that is like, you know, that you're kind of like weak at or weakens you, you know, don't pay too much attention to those things that give you anxiety or make you feel as though, you know, it's distracting you, right? Because the aces are talking about things that could potentially distract you as well. So keep your focus, right? um, Keep doing what you're doing, right? The Ace of Rods is a reduction from the Ten of Rods, which is Saturn and Sagittarius, you know? So this is like you're not feeling slowed down, or you don't want to feel slowed down, right? You have anxieties of like what you're able to do, right? But the aces are all really good, so that's good. That's the situation that has potential that you probably were a little bit concerned about before. But it's like, don't be too worried about it, okay? In the Mars position, you have the Seven of Rods, which is, you know, you're almost there. You just have to do a little bit more work. And also, I can tell that, like, you know, you just be feeling. You may just be feeling like something is harder. Something is like more challenging than you would like for it to be. This is kind of like a challenging relationship, and because it's a seven, um, it could even be talking about how every day could be a challenge, because the sevens do talk about 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 days out of the week. So you could be experiencing adversity 7 days out of the week that you're just kind of like really working very hard to push through. Okay. And it's like keeping yourself busy as well is going to be a good way to kind of like, detach from the drama, right? Because this is Mars in Leo, and this is a very dramatic energy with Mars being in Leo. Um, Also, you could just be feeling very dramatic within yourself, okay? Your emotions as well, you know. You could be blaming someone else's actions for the way that you're feeling, right? Or vice versa. Maybe someone could be blaming your actions or our actions for the way that they're feeling. But someone's actions is stirring up someone's emotions, and it is causing someone to want to move forward. There's almost kind of like a sense of like uh, relationships battling it out, right? So there's some battling within relationships. There could be some opposition within relationships that are, you know, how, the way, the behavior, that type of thing, could be questioning your own behavior and other people's behavior and, all kinds of things like that, right? Because the sevens are talking about how you might be seen. It's the seventh house, and it's still also related to the 10th house as well, right? And you got the Ace of Wands right next to it. Okay, so the aces are talking about the first house, which is Aries, cardinal. The sevens are talking about the seventh house, which is Libra, cardinal. The seventh house is exalted by Saturn being there. Saturn rules the 10th house, which is Capricorn. So we're talking about how we are governing, how things might be governed, right? How things are being built, how they're being made, how, quality, that type of thing. We're talking about quality of life, challenges with the quality of life as well, because Leo is life, right? And the sevens are, experiencing some opposition as well. And then the sevens are all related to the chariot, which is Cancer. So the home, that type of thing. And I think a lot of people might be experiencing that right now just because, you know. Let's look at your relationship placement, which is Venus. You got the Judgment card, which is wonderful. The High Priestess came up. That's great. That's like, the Judgment card and the High Priestess are talking about endings. It also talks about the purification of a feeling or the purification of like something. Status purification, okay? That's what I would say. Just because the High Priestess is Pisces, it's the last sign. Pluto is the Judgment card, okay? The Judgment card being in the relationship placement is saying that there's a transformation that is happening within a relationship or within all of your relationships. And I definitely feel like that. I feel like all of my relationships are changing. Um, but there's a sense of power within this reform that's happening. Um, your relationships could be affecting the way the amount of income that you might be pulling in some kind of way, shape, or form. These mosquitoes are out here, and I'm so glad I brought this with me. Um, Cortisone. But yeah, this is balanced on all sides, right? And this is coming out of a situation feeling sort of like regenerated, a little bit like reborn in that kind of sense. Um, you know, it's a two, so it's talking about the twos are the most pure essence in their suit, and this is like a very strong card. It's like the second to last stage of spiritual enlightenment, right? So you could be just having a lot of clairvoyance, your career, like seeing where that might even be going. Some of you could have even had some powerful experiences with people in relationships that have just forever changed you, or you could have just been having some situations within your career, your job that may have changed you, or some things dealing with, you know, I don't know, people that have a lot of control in your life. So you might just be realizing how some of your relationships have control of your life in areas that you would rather have control. Um, you know, your relationships are definitely going to affect you, and they're definitely going to control different aspects of you because it's like, that's just how it is. Um, yeah, but you might be setting yourself free from that which is holding you back, right? Or making you feel confined, marginalized. Yeah, breaking through. It's like a breakdown before a breakthrough. All right, so let's go ahead and look at your last three cards, which are talking about more of the futuristic, right? What's going to be happening. I'm going to pull the outcome, well, energy moving forward, because the outcome and the future card are kind of like the same, right? Okay, here's the outcome here, or the energy moving forward is there is going to be a bit of a lesson that is going to have to be learned, right? This is Saturn and Leo. Saturn is like debilitated in Leo, so it's saying like, this is competition, competitive energy. It's inner conflict, conflict with oneself, conflict maybe with one's family. Um, this could be conflict within a group, right? With a situation that could have to do with like the home, or with a business, or with the job, that type of thing. Leo is talking about fun and games, and then it's also talking about, romance, or just kind of like, that type of thing. um, Leo is also talking about, creativity, So the outcome energy moving forward, Saturn being in Leo, whatever house Leo is for you, you might just be feeling a little like restricted there, or there might be a little bit of conflict or competition there. Maybe you don't understand what's happening, right? This is also like an ego being put in check in some kind of way, because Saturn is definitely going to check your ego. And being that this is the Five of Wands, a lot of times they'll put like a cock or a rooster here in the photo to kind of like to represent the energy of the ego. Okay, so this is some pride being maybe put in check in some kind of way, or you might just be feeling conflict within a group. Um, a sense of pride might be damaged or restricted. It has to do with time as well. Over time, you may have realized something, or your level of consciousness was raised to some degree in regards to a situation. But the fives do talk about severity. It talks about your level of consciousness to know right from wrong, and what to do when you realize what has been happening that you maybe didn't realize before, or maybe you just were ignoring or letting things slide or something like that. Saturn doesn't necessarily let things slide, so this could be saying not letting something slide. All right, so let's look at the future card. Seven of Pentacles. The Seven of Pentacles is talking about failure, right? Sometimes if you're thinking about Thoth. And then also it's talking about being able to control your your desire to have something right now. Um, Saturn is also talking about lessons in how you deal with what you have. So this is saying that you might be feeling like, right, seven, you might be feeling like what you have is not enough, but this is saying that it actually is. Or you could just be wanting to rush a situation because you want to see what it's going to be like right now, but it's saying like you just need to be patient, you need to wait. It's a seven, you need to wait out a situation. Be patient. You may be wanting to like change your reality in some kind of way a little bit hastily, but it's saying like just let time do its work. Let the process kind of like carry out in the way that it was meant to carry out. And you will probably see more rewards or more benefits in the future, right? It just has to play out a little bit more. It is a Taurus energy, right? But it is a seven, and the sevens are still related to the 10th house. And being that it is Saturn, which rules the 10th house, in Taurus. Um, yeah, Saturn could be, Saturn is talking about restriction, okay? And Taurus is talking about the throat. It also is talking about how consciously aware you are of how your relationships might affect reality and your ability to be very productive. So this is saying, the productivity is going to be, you might be anxious to get something into production, or you might be anxious to have something move along, right? In a real way. And this is also, it could be a relationship.
right? Definitely. Stay committed to what you've already committed to. Don't decide to change something. Stay committed to what you are already committed to. Hey, Lady Libra. Oh my God, hello. Hi. You know, I've seen that barber like so many times now. Remember how I was like, I can't get a haircut, can't get a haircut. After I get the haircut, I'm seeing the barber everywhere. But yeah, you know, don't, sorry, mosquitoes. Don't rush. This is saying don't rush. Pay attention to the details, right? You don't want to miss anything. It's going to benefit you more that way when you really do it thoroughly. Do a thorough job, okay? Even with the finances, we could be talking about some sort of shared resource or something like it. Could even be taxes, just because this is a 7 and it talks about opposition. Oh, I know. We'll meet. We'll get that cut in. We'll get that cut in at some point. Um, but yes, we are looking at the 7 of Pentacles and we're saying don't rush. You know the don't rush challenge with the hairbrush. I guess that's what it is, or whatever it is you're passing around. Like this is my don't rush. I missed it. I rushed. See, if you rush, you're gonna miss it. Okay. Anyway, I'm silly. So let's look at the top card and let's really like hope and pray that it's gonna be a real good one because we like it, right? We like it. Yeah. What? We're dealing with some changes. Temperance. It's great. I love this card because this card talks about leaving in one reality. You know, the path that you were on, the course that you were on is changing, and that's good. You have to believe in this change that is occurring, right? You know, it's like you're recommitting yourself to yourself. You are reestablishing a new sense of self. You know, there's something that's being like cooked up for you. There's an alchemical process that's happening in your spirit, in your heart, and you know, you are sort of like adjusting your foundations and what's important to you, and you're realizing what you have to do, and you have to take responsibility for the changes that you want to see happen in your life. You know, no one is going to make the things that only you dream of happen for you. You know, some people might help you, may be able to assist you in that kind of way, but you really are the one that's making it happen. You know, so this is talking about, you know, finances as well, getting those together, working those out, whatever bills you have that you haven't paid. You know, you might even have to refinance something or, you know, come up with some sort of like payment plan or something like that. And this is also kind of like, you know, working, continuing to improve on something that you've already been working on, that you've already committed yourself to, right? And this is, you know, this is spiritual enlightenment. It's almost kind of like, it's right before, right? What is this? 14. This is the card that comes right before the first stage of spiritual enlightenment. So once you leave this place, you will realize what it was that you may have subscribed to or what you may have believed in that you believe in differently now. You may believe in something else. Um, yeah, so this is just kind of like changes happening to you internally and changes happening in your life and your reality. We did have a full moon in Sagittarius. Sagittarius is your third house. It's siblings, it's cousins, it's also, you know, things that we connect to, that we feel innately connected to. Those things are changing. And the third house for us is Gemini, right? Here's a 2. Well, it looks like the Gemini symbol, but those are related to the second house of um, earned income, right? So we're looking at earned income. We're trying to pull in more. We're trying to be optimistic about it as well, you know, about because you have to like, you have to channel, you have to pull in what it is that you feel like you want to have before you have it. You have to think about what you want before you get it, right? Um, I think that we are good. I'm sorry about all of those glitches, the phone calls and stuff. I really thought that my friend was calling me to tell me that like he was watching and something was wrong with my sound. So I was kind of afraid of that, but you know, you guys are here, so maybe it's not that. I think I'm gonna go ahead and pull maybe like a 3 stack of the mystical and Norman just because I feel like I don't have like the runes or the romance Oracle, Romance Angels Oracle, or any of those Doreen Virtue decks that I usually use. So I'm just gonna go ahead and pull from the Mystical Lenormand that I have here. I'm in Central Park, by the way, and I have to get it's a park card, and I have to actually get ready to go back so I can teach a class, a fitness class. But I'm getting old, you guys. My body hurts. It's like my knees and my ankles, just because dancing for like over 20 years, it's a lot. Okay, here we go. Center card. Ooh, so this is kind of like, this could be like a toxic relationship because we're already going there. It could be someone that, is, this is kind of like maybe like a woman or not a powerful enemy because that's more like a Capricorn type of mountainous energy. But this is, maybe feeling isolated in some kind of way, maybe trying to detach from the toxic energy that might be surrounding you, that type of thing, because it's the snake. And the snake is clearly what it is. It's talking about transformation as well because it's Scorpio. So relationships could be transforming, you yourself could be transforming, and there's a sense of trust here that you might be uncomfortable with. You might be uncomfortable with trusting something. Let's see. The snake is number 7, and the snake. This card indicates betrayal, falseness, lies, and detours. It can also stand for a girlfriend, sister, or lady friend, etc. Whatever that etc. means. But betrayal, falseness, lies, detours. So all of anything that might be making you feel uncomfortable right now, we're dealing with that. I'm gonna look at what's at the bottom of that to kind of give more insight. But there's a lucky situation here that you could be experiencing. These are koi fish, and these are talking about abundance. The fish are talking about money. It's talking about things coming in, fertility, that type of thing. Um, you know, and if you teach a man how to fish, then he can feed himself for life. That type of thing. So it's kind of like understanding how to access something or access like an ability or something like that and use it to bring abundance into your life. Knowing how to attract abundance. That's what this is talking about. And it's a Gemini card, right? So it's talking about attracting something to you. Venus is in Gemini right now, and Venus also esoterically rules Gemini. Let's look at the other card that we have here. Right, here we go. That powerful enemy I talked about, the mountain, right? The mountain is here. I spoke it up. And this is just talking about letting something go, leaving something behind, taking the weight off that, if you're struggling up a mountain and you have like a bucket of water and you don't need it, then you need to leave that bucket of water. You know what I mean? Because it's really just weighing you down and holding you back. These are toxic relationships that could be holding you back from your abundant life, right? Your abundant life, moving into it, right? Riding into it, going into it, beginning, right? And then behind the snake, wow, we have the parks here. This is like Aquarian energy, right? It also gives number 20, which is, that's a 2, and that talks about sharing, right? So there's like talking about sharing something here. That could be like sex or something. Aquarius rules friends. It's like friends and sex, that type of thing. I don't know what that's about because I'm not doing that. Okay. And this talks about destiny. This is the cross. This is destiny, right? And it's also Pluto and sacrificing something, letting something go. So you could be letting go of something that was holding you back. You're putting an end to that thing that was holding you back and that made you feel like it was getting in your way and, creating obstacles that were unnecessary, right? And realizing that it's like you have more perspective on this energy of the snake. And there's a new beginning that's happening here, and you've got abundance coming your way as long as you know how to connect to it and access it. Catching you from Ireland, much love to you all. Hello. All right, everybody. I love you all. And, Libra. I'm a Libra, Libra sun and rising. Thank you all. hit the donate button, donate to my channel. I will leave some information in the description box so that you can do that. Follow me on Instagram. It's NYC Kendrick. That's my personal account where I do a lot of fitness stuff there. And my tarot is Providence Tarot. Thank you so much, Pink Rose. Yes. I have a food account too. It's called The Tongue Pop. A friend of mine thinks that I have too many accounts, but maybe I'll get rid of one of them one day. Thank you. I love you guys too. Bye.